So, I ran a quick search on YouTube for Spider-Man movies ranked. I found about 100 or so people who have already done the same thing. I mean, I don't know, there's probably more. I stopped scrolling. Fine. Lots of people, lots of channels have already ranked the Spider-Man movies. But you know what?
My turn! My turn! My turn!
Babe, can you just really?
So, what I'm doing today is having a little fun and ranking all 8 Spider-Man movies. I guess that means when Spider-Man No Way Home comes out, I'll have to revisit this and remake it or whatever. That's a problem for future me to worry about. Let's worry about today. That said, let's get the show on the road. Keep in mind, these are just my opinions, so if I hate the movies you love or love the movies you hate, it's all good. We can still be friends. Number 8 on my list is Amazing Spider-Man 2 from 2014. Also, we're gonna go ahead and tear that bandage right off, because number 7 on my list is Amazing Spider-Man 2012. Since these two are back to back in my rankings, I'm gonna consolidate and talk about them together. In other words, I'm doing something neither of these movies were capable of doing: streamlining. Real quick, let's talk about the good. Both of these movies looked awesome. They had some cool action and special effects. Both movies also had solid acting. You can tell everyone involved was in it for the long haul and actually gave a shit. That's refreshing. Sometimes when it comes to big blockbuster franchises, by the time the sequels come along, actors are already getting bored and phoning it in. I also credit these two movies for having a plan. That was pretty ballsy. Sony actually wanted to create a Spider-Man universe. I mean, the plan failed, but good for them for at least trying. Now the bad points. There are a lot of them. I'm not gonna just sit here and eviscerate these movies. I'm just gonna say that they tried way too hard. They were like the cinematic equivalent of that kid you knew when you were young who tried to act and do everything he thought was cool just to fit in. Check me out, I'm a loner. Check me out, I stand up to bullies. Check me out, I'm a skateboarder. Check me out, I'm a ladies' man. Check me out, I'm a genius. Enough, stop it.
I will control everything, and I will be like a god to them.
A god named Sparkles?
Lastly, both of these movies simply had way too much going on. The second one in particular had the most clutter due to lingering plot threads from the first movie, but it also added new characters and even more villains. There was also backstory in both movies relating to Peter's parents that went nowhere fast, and there was lots of setup for future movies that would never happen. I know there are fans of these movies. If you like them, that's awesome. Believe me, I wanted to like them too, just didn't happen. Number 6 on my list is Spider-Man 3 from 2007. Not sure what the hell else I can say about Spider-Man 3 that hasn't already been said a million times over. But just like Sony, I'll give it a try.
He loved me.
No. He despised you. You were an embarrassment to him. Oh. Look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry?
Let's start with the good. This movie had a lot of fun moments and some great humor. It was also cool that they got everybody back together again in a cast. I'm a stickler when it comes to continuity. I also like Sandman, although I thought it was weird to retcon Uncle Ben's murder to involve Sandman. I guess just to make him a more personal villain for Peter. Anyway, the character was still great. The special effects that brought the Sandman to life still hold up. But that brings us to the bad. Venom. If you had told me when I was younger I'd get to see Spider-Man fight Venom on the big screen, I would have reacted like one of those kids from a vintage cereal commercial. The director of the movie, Sam Raimi, never wanted Venom in the movie, and it showed. The character was only jammed into the story because the producer wanted the fan-favorite villain to get some screen time. In any case, Venom felt like a weird afterthought. His presence only made a bloated movie all the more crowded. Instead of giving us a focused, satisfactory conclusion to the trilogy, this movie felt like, let's do all the things. All of them. We get more Pete and Mary Jane and their rocky relationship. We followed up on the new Goblin, I guess because you sort of had to at this point. Aside from some funny memes and of course the hilarious dance number, this movie pretty much killed Spider-Man movies for me altogether. Honestly, I left the theater after seeing this and was like, I'm good. I don't need to see Spider-Man movies anymore. Thank you. Thanks, Hollywood. Thank you.
But I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
Number 5 on my list is Spider-Man Far From Home, 2019. Alright, so now we're getting into my favorite Spider-Man movies. Again, we'll start with the good. Tom Holland. This guy's passion for playing the iconic character really shows. It's fun to watch someone doing what they love. Tom Holland may be my favorite version of Spider-Man. Not sure, it depends. Some days I feel like Tobey Maguire's my favorite, other days I feel like it's Tom Holland. Some days I feel like Nicholas Hammond. This movie had some great action, funny moments, an awesome surprise cameo, and I even liked the developing relationship between Peter and Mary Jane. It was also a lot of fun to finally see Mysterio on the big screen. I've always liked this villain. Speaking of which, the trippy nightmare sequence alone was worth the price of entry. There's not too much bad to say about this movie. I guess the first half felt a bit slow, the pacing felt a little off. Other than that, it was great. Number 4 on my list is Spider-Man Homecoming from 2017. When Spider-Man made his kick-ass first appearance in Civil War, I was sold.
Hey, everyone.
Be honest, you all know back in the day you rewatched that trailer over and over. Anyway, Homecoming to me is probably one of the most fun Spider-Man movies. It's lighthearted and funny when it needs to be, and then it switches up its tone and it gets serious. The movie pulls this off without a hitch. The casting was also great. Tom Holland knocked it out of the park. Michael Keaton was incredible. Robert Downey Jr., Jacob Batalon, Zendaya. Come on, you don't need me to go through the IMDb page. Number 3 on my list is the OG Spider-Man movie from 2002. A lot of nostalgia here. Seriously though, this is still a good movie. Tobey Maguire was awesome, and the rest of the cast all brought their A-game. This movie, much like the first X-Men, basically helped kickstart the modern era of superhero films. I love this version of Spider-Man's origin, I definitely liked his organic web shooters, and I definitely liked the camp in this movie. William Dafoe was also top-notch as Green Goblin, but yeah, his outfit sucked. Whatever, it didn't ruin the movie for me. Number 2 on my list is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse from 2018. So at this point, we're obviously done even talking about the bad. Any flaws in the next 2 Spider-Man movies on my list are so minor, they may as well not even exist.
If an item does not appear in our records, it does not exist.
Go ahead, keep searching, Obi-Wan. This movie is just a visual masterpiece. Every moment, every frame, it's something you can screenshot, print up, hang it on your wall. The action's great, the music is cool, and the fast pace keeps you engaged. I also want to even quickly credit the voice actors who were really good here. Shamik Moore as Miles Morales, Jake Johnson as Peter Parker, one of my favorites, Nick Cage as Spider-Man Noir, Mahershala Ali as Uncle Aaron, Haley Steinfeld, even Lily Tomlin showed up. In terms of story, Into the Spider-Verse did its job and then some. The movie functioned as a great origin to Miles' character. It even dove deeper into the weeds of comic books in a good way. It introduced the world to the concept of the Spider-Verse. The villains too were also strong as hell. And we finally got Kingpin into a Spider-Man movie.
Pizza time.
Number 1 on my list is Spider-Man 2 from 2004. I've been around long enough to know that Spider-Man 2 is still many people's favorite. Even after all these years, there's still a lot to love about this movie. You have the memorable score, the action scenes, the goofy music montage, the respect to the source material, the epic train battle, and of course, the Sam Raimi horror-inspired Birth of Dr. Octopus. Speaking of which, Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus was awesome. A very strong villain, especially when you consider this franchise has actually had some pretty great villains along the way. But this was it. This was the movie that I think really nailed Spider-Man as a character. It gave us a great story, and it gave us a villain who still holds up. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm all spidered out, whatever that means. And don't forget, hit like and sub if you like this video. If you're looking for more rankings, check out my ranking of The Devils on Twilight Zone and the posters for the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Also, let me know how all the Spider-Man movies rank for you. Feel free to throw in Venom too if you want. It's all good. Thanks to everyone for watching. Later.